Good morning, students. Today I would like to have a little grammar explanation for you who have to stay at home right now. And this grammar explanation will be about the topic passive in simple present and simple past. Now, do you remember that? You should, because we did that last year already. So today is going to be a little revision for you. Now, what is the passive about? The passive in the simple present is about the difference between active and passive sentences. Now look at the first example. I teach English. Simple sentence, okay? It consists of a subject, a verb in the first form, and an object. I marked everything with different colors so you can easily see what is what. This is the active part. Now in the passive, this sentence would be English is taught by me. Now this is no longer about that somebody does something, but in the passive way, what is done to something. In that way, English, which is the object in the active sentence, goes to the beginning of the passive sentence. So it is here right now, and you see what has changed? Well, we have the form of to be, which can be am, are, is, depending on what the object is, and then the third form of the verb. So you remember that you have to learn the third forms of the verb, the participles for the passive form. And then if you know who did that, you can also add by, in that case, by me. So sometimes we know who the person is who did the thing to something else, so we can add by, but sometimes we just don't know, so we don't have to add it. Like in this example, English is taught at our school is also a passive sentence, you see, form of to be, and the third form, but there is no by agent, as we call it. Second example, to make it a little clearer, the kids watch the video, active sentence, because they do something actively, and then the passive sentence is the video is watched by the kids. Again, object of the active sentence goes first, then the form of to be, and the third form of the verb, which is a regular verb, so it's just watched with an ed. Now, that is the structure. You should remember it, and it is for the simple present, for things that happen in everyday life, that are repeated, that are habits, stuff like that, okay? Now, look at the same structure, just in the simple past. You have an active sentence, which is sort of the same like in the present, just in the past right now. I taught English actively. Who did what is the question here. And if you put that in the passive, you say English was taught by me. Now what has changed? You see that it's no longer am, are, is, but was, were. Still a form of to be, and then the third form. Again, we have the by agent, so we know that some person was involved doing that. And in the second sentence, which is similar to the one in the simple present, you also see the kids watched the video, they did something actively, but in the past right now. And here, it's the second form of the verb, because it's past, okay? But in the passive, it's still was, were, depending on what we have, and the third form of the verb. So you must learn the third forms of the verbs again to master active and passive here. How do I know when to use what? Is it simple present? Is it simple past? Well, we can look out for signal words. Like in the simple present, you know those signal words, always, often, every week, and so on and so forth. And in the simple past, words like, or phrases like last week, yesterday, a year ago, they clearly mark that it's a simple past sentence, okay? I underlined those things for you, and of course, you can watch the video multiple times, and if I were you, I would stop the video in certain parts and just take some notes in your exercise book to clearly get down what active and passive sentences in both tenses are about. Okay? So, I hope that was understandable for you, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.